This is going to be a Takenoko game in which I explain the basic actions, the user interface, and quite a lot about the strategy of this game. My buddies agreed to play with me, even though he thinks his skill level is not as good as mine, and that's perfectly fine. First of all, you'll see down the left side of the user interface, these are all of your buttons for actions you can take on your turn. Every turn you will get 2 actions. On future turns, you will also get a weather condition after the first turn that might give you an additional action or something to do at the beginning of your turn. I'll go over each of those weathers as they come up. There are 6 options on that die. As far as your actions here, your first one is plots. When you select plots, you pick 3 tiles from the board and get to place one of them. There are 27 total tiles. He's already placed one. It shows down at the bottom the remaining improvements and plots. I'll get to improvements later. So that's the basic idea of this action. I would do this, but he's left a bamboo here. So I'm going to use the Panda action, the 4th one, to collect this bamboo. I highly recommend you always collect bamboo when possible. And I'm going to take the final action is an objective. You must choose an objective category. These objective cards are how you score points and what you need to do to accomplish them. I'm going to pick plots, and I got really lucky because both of my plots are basically the same thing. He's also already placed a yellow on the board, and it wasn't to pick up a bamboo, so he probably has a yellow objective, and I might be able to get him to do most of the work for me. Now the second action is Irrigate. Each of these tiles will only grow bamboo if it's touching the center water. If it has a watershed, this little blue thing that's underneath this, you'll see these on cards later, or if you have irrigation channels going to it. These little irrigation channels are just blue pieces that you can slide in between these. I'm going to go ahead and grow there and take that. Now, since he's helping me so much with yellow, I'm going to take another plot. I think it'll be easy for me to finish those. Now I have a completely different color, so I'm probably going to lay off of plots for a while. Okay, so let me see. Mousing over doesn't do anything at the moment. When you place a plot on the board, an important rule is you have to be touching 2 edges currently on the board. He could not place here when there was only one of these yellows. But now he can, because there are 2 edges touching, one here and one here. There, now it's showing my irrigation channels that I could place. I don't have any irrigation channels, so I couldn't do that. Now the only objective that has a red and yellow in this configuration means he needs to be putting a red right here. I have to stop that. So I don't want to put a red there. My only way to stop that is to put a green up there. I'm going to put one with fertilizer just cuz. Get it out of the board. Now I'm going to plant another plot. I don't want to plant a yellow right now because he'd just immediately try to start doing his reds again. So I'm going to do a green on the board. I have to be a little bit careful, but I want access to my green bamboo. There are only 5 objectives you can hold in your hand at a time. Now the third action is Gardener. You take this little Gardener token and you move him in a straight line in any direction and land on a tile. That tile and any tile next to it in a circle that is the same color will grow. Now they only grow if they're irrigated. Like these tiles out here, none of these tiles are irrigated right now, so they won't do anything. That actually might have been really good for me having that yellow there, because I can pop another yellow in here. But we've seen many of the yellows out of the plots right now. I almost think I won't be able to get that. So he did take the Gardener action to grow the Gardener here. That means he's probably got a bamboo Gardener objective for that exact type of tile. I'm going to place a whole bunch of plots on the board. And by a whole bunch, apparently I just mean 1 green, because I want to collect that bamboo. So you'll notice the panda is just the same as the gardener. You move him in a straight line. Wherever he ends, he eats a bamboo, and you add it to your collection. You can turn those in later for points. They get consumed when you use them. Now there are these little enclosure symbols, and we can't see these right now. Once one of these plots is on the board, the panda cannot eat a bamboo there. He can move there, the action will just be wasted. Now, a point of the user interface when learning to play this game, make sure you pick your action very carefully. Once you click on one of these, you will not be able to stop that action other than plot. Plot does have a cancel option. Now, I rolled the most unique weather this turn. I get to choose my weather. I rolled the 6th side, which is a question mark symbol. A weather for sun is you take a third action. The rain allows you to grow one tile that can grow. It does have to be irrigated. Wind removes the restriction of doing 2 separate actions. You can do the same thing now. Storm allows you to move the panda somewhere on the board. Doesn't have to be in a straight line. You move it anywhere and eat a bamboo. And the last one is cloud. Pick an improvement. I'm definitely picking cloud. Almost always do for the first few rolls that I get of that. I want a watershed. This allows me to finish my plot objectives without needing to use irrigation channels. I can pick this improvement and I can drop it on a tile and it'll immediately grow. It's very handy. I'm going to try to get a yellow. I got a yellow, so I'm going to slide it in there. So now this one's easy to do. I need one more in one specific spot here. And I'm actually really afraid he's going to try to drop a pink in there and ruin it. Not much I can do to cancel that if he does. I'm going to start taking some irrigation. That'll come in handy later. Okay, so I've talked about all 5 of the basic things so far. Let's talk about each of them a little more in depth. The plots. Each time that you're picking from these 3 plots, there are exactly 11 green tiles in the game, 9 yellow tiles in the game, and 7 pink tiles in the game. Some of the tiles already have these special symbols like fertilizer, watershed, and panda enclosure on them. That was really lucky for me that he put a watershed yellow right there for me. Very, very fortunate for me. And I rolled clouds again. Let's make sure there is a watershed left. There is, so I'm going to take the second watershed for me and the final one in the game. There are only 3 of that improvement available. If I were to drop one of my watersheds up here, I'd immediately be done with both of these objectives. So I'm considering doing that. I wouldn't be able to eat the bamboo up there, but it would free up my hand to pick up more objectives. I'm going to go ahead and do it. So now I can complete both of these. I'm going to hold on to this one because I don't want him to know how many points I have. It's just kind of a common strategy to hold your points for later. And I'm going to try to place a green down here. I got lucky and got one with a watershed on it, so it's already done too. Okay, so I mentioned there are 11 green, 9 yellow, 7 pink, so there are far fewer pink to yellow to green. That comes out in the points. Greens are worth less because they're more common than a yellow. Yellows are worth less than a pink because they're less common. Same thing with the bamboos, same thing with the gardeners. Has he finished anything yet? No, he hasn't finished anything for me to show you his. And that's okay. Now these special tiles that do exist, the greens have 2 of each type. There are 2 greens with watershed, 2 greens with fertilizer, and 2 greens with panda enclosure. That leaves 5 of them with no normal bonus on them at all. The yellows, on the other hand, actually have more without anything. There are 6 of them with nothing, but there's only 1 watershed, 1 fertilizer, and 1 panda enclosure. We've actually seen all 3 of those already. And then we have 3 of the normal ones, 1 that I've upgraded. There are only, what would that be, 3 yellow tiles left in this deck at all. Now he is going to be able to have finished his pink up here with that yellow that I kind of hurt him with earlier. I need more green. I would love to grow it there on that fertilizer, but it's not irrigated, so I'll grow it over here instead. I could grow it here or here. If I were to move the panda here, he'd be able to go after yellow, so I'm going to move it down this way, and keep the panda positioned so there's nothing he can do with it until he starts placing irrigation. A nice thing about when you have these plots to yourself and you're irrigating, the very first time you run irrigation channel to a tile, it'll grow. So if he's looking for a pink, he can just drop a irrigation, then move the panda and take it. And he doesn't even have to finish irrigating the other tiles he wants until later. He can just leave that there so the next time it's his turn, he can irrigate again, move the panda, and he'll have first access to it. I'm going to get rid of my plot that's finished, and I'm going to take a new panda objective. So I want the pink now. I kind of want him to irrigate these for me. Okay, and then I didn't finish. There's one fertilizer, one panda enclosure, and one watershed for the pinks. There are exactly 4 of them that are normal. Just no improvement at all, but there are only 7 of those tiles. Let me show you how plot objective points look. So I have a little graphic I've prepared. There are clusters of them that are 4 in a big cluster. There are 3 in a diamond shape. There are 3 in a line, or 3 in a bent elbow. You'll notice that the cluster is part of the 4 and the bent is part of the 4. So these 3 types of objectives can be very easy to synergize and finish with the same effort if you get lucky. If you don't get lucky, you kind of have to do extra stuff. These bottom 3 are the weirdest ones and they're really awkward. They have 2 of each color and it takes 4 total, and their point value is relatively low. It's set to the highest of them, so 3 for the green, 4 for the one that is a bit of both, and then 5 for the one that's pink. So that's what the plot objectives look like, so you know what to expect. There are 15 total plot objectives available in the game. If you try to draw a plot objective and it's already finished on the board, for example, he didn't have any yellow that included like this 3 thing, or if he did, he's still sitting on it. If I were to try to draw and that were the objective I would get, the game would just tell me, oh, that's already finished, you can't have it. Now remember when I said I'd like him to irrigate these? He went a little happy irrigating it before he was ready to collect on both, and that lets me take a free pink. He could have tried to protect that a little more and space it out, but I think he was trying to get space to grab objectives. Did he grab a plot? No, it doesn't even look like he grabbed a plot last turn, so he could have spaced that out a little further. I am going to take a new plot objective myself because I know I want a pink bamboo the next time I have a chance. See here, picks a plot objective, it's already complete, so I have to pick another. I'm hoping now to get more of these all greens, which is not in my favor now, so that's okay. I will grab another irrigation channel just in case that comes in handy later, or I can drop a plot. I'll drop a plot. Okay. I'm tempted to drop this and try to get my green-red complete. Does he maybe have the yellow and the green split? Well, probably not, because he could do that easier down here. If I tried to do a red, it wouldn't work here. I'd have to do the red on this side, and that would possibly mess up my green or help him with his plot. So I'm just going to go for my own green, and I'm going to put it right in here. That might finish his objective for him, but it'll finish mine for me if he irrigates. I'm going to leave that alone and try to finish that objective on the other side. Okay, back to objective cards. The gardener objectives, where you're trying to get the bamboo to a certain height, you'll notice it stacks up when it grows. Fertilizers grow twice, that was their special. Panda enclosure can't be eaten by the panda. And then watersheds are just don't need irrigation channel. Other normal ones are normal. There are exactly 15 gardener objectives, one for every combination. So you've got your fertilizers, your watersheds, your enclosures, your normal tile, and it says in the top right it can't be any of the others, so it cannot be one of these special tiles. Then there's these really high value ones that require 3 instead of 4 high, so 2 stacks of 3 red, 3 stacks of 3 yellow, or 4 stacks of 3 green for 8 points, a huge objective there. That's what the distribution of gardeners look like. Okay, now I get to do, since he's growing these, I think he's got one of these red objectives. So I'm going to go ahead and attempt to take a lot of red away. I'm going to go ahead and check on what my next panda is. I'm hoping it has a red in it, but okay, there, I'm lucky. And I normally substitute red and pink, so don't mind my color word choice. Okay, we've talked about gardener objectives. How about panda objectives? Panda objectives, I cannot emphasize enough how important the panda objectives are to winning the game. There are 5 of the green objectives, 4 of the yellow, 3 of the red, and 3 of the triple. These, you have to use 1 action to pick up the objective card, 2 different actions to get the green, and you might have been able to get a storm or something for some free actions in collecting these. That gives you exactly 1 point per action. That's a really good ratio for the Takenoko game. The yellows, 1 action to get the objective, 2 actions for collecting, so you get 4 points for 3 actions. 1.33 is not bad. This is very similar, but you're getting 5 points for 3 actions, so it's 1.66. This, it takes 4 actions, 1 for the card, 3 for the bamboo, for 6 points, 1.5. So the reds are actually the most valuable, followed by these 6 pointers. The greens, one of the nice things about these, even though they're low value, there are so many green plots in the game, it should be really easy to get a hold of those. And if you're getting a hold of a lot of them, you'll be able to do better with it. Now, did he finish a gardening objective? He did not. So this is either trying to get a 3 stack of each, or he's trying to get this to 4. I can't do anything about that with the panda already on that tile. So I'm going to collect the green up here. You'll notice I used my rain to grow this watershed because I wouldn't mind getting this grown up. I'm going to go up here for this green so that he's less likely to grab that yellow from me. I have this objective complete. I'm 1 away from a yellow to finish that because I've got 1 extra already. This I need to complete if I can. Well, that was unfortunate. Not what I was looking to do at all. I'm actually going to stick it up here, because if I can get the right pink drop right here, I can finish that objective with just 1 more plot and 1 more irrigation that I'm already holding. I'm holding out for a normal green that I can drop here and just stick my watershed and finish it outright. It's only 3 points. I'm not going to sweat it if I don't get it. And if he, okay, he grew it twice. He did indeed try to finish that objective. Well done, sir. Okay, I need a yellow to finish this. I can't move the gardener up there the way it's oriented. I'm going to go there. I'm going to finish this objective and check on my new panda. My new panda is another triple, so I need a little bit of everything. I'm going to get the green since there's only 1 green tile currently growing. Okay, so we've talked about plot objectives. Panda, gardener, all of those. As far as early game strategy goes, I highly recommend you focus on moving the panda. Even if you only have like 1 or 2 panda objectives and there aren't the right colors you're looking for on the board, just keep collecting them. By the end of the game, out of the 9 objectives it takes to finish, you want maybe 4 to 6 of them to be panda objectives. Just keep grabbing bamboo. It'll work out best for you to be able to get a lot of points with least amount of actions to focus on that. Now I get to choose an improvement again. There are no watersheds available, so I could take either of these. I'm not really interested in either of them because I don't have any gardener objectives for them right now, but I'm going to take one anyway. If all of these are ever taken, that will mean that anytime the clouds are rolled, it turns into a question mark and you get to pick a different weather. I never take the last one, by the way. If I look down here and it said this was at 0 and there was just one of these left, I would decline to take it and hope that my opponent rolls clouds and takes it not thinking. Then anytime I get clouds after that, I get a question mark. But he never got the chance to do just anything he wants. So I need a yellow and I need a red. I'm going to go ahead and grab the red, because I want to try to grow this, and the gardener's in a bad position for me. Haven't got any rain, but at least I'm halfway done with that objective. Now I'm going to try to get my plot for that green. There we go. I can try to wait for another turn and try to pick up a new green objective. If I were to get, say, the triple's already done, but maybe I can get the one that's an L in a line that's not complete anywhere on the board and pick up an extra point. I'm not going to worry about it because it's a green. I'd rather get the triple pink up here and finish this and that for an extra 4 rather than the 2 points for the L green. I'm going to drop the watershed right now before he can put a fertilizer on there, forcing me to run an irrigation all the way out. Hopefully I didn't just help him. He doesn't have any plots, so I don't think I did. Okay, so early game strategy, focus on the panda. You need to pick one of the two things, either plots or gardener. I highly recommend for everyone to grab a second plot objective right in the beginning of the game. That way you have something to help get plots on the board. After that, whether they synergize or don't synergize, you can focus on grabbing gardeners and hope that maybe you get the yellow watershed, the yellow fertilizer, and maybe the triple yellow. And then you can just move that gardener around in here and keep growing all 4 tiles at once. It'd be very effective. Again, there's more than one left in there, so I'll just take a generic improvement. I need a yellow, so I'm going to take the one that's down here. He's still not pointed at my watershed, but I really don't think I'm going to get this panda done. I'm going to try to drop a pink in where I want it. It would have been really nice if I had got the pink with a watershed, because I'd be able to finish that this turn, and that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 9 objectives to end the game. Before the game gets ended, I'm going to talk about one more thing that's kind of a high-end strategy you can pay attention to. Every time I grab these 3 plots when I'm playing in a tournament, I pay attention to which 3 I saw. There are 27 total plots in the game, and you look at them 3 at a time. So on the 9th time someone places a plot, you can tell either by counting 9 in the center or by looking at the plots remaining. When it says there are 18 left, the next person who chooses plots will start getting repeats. Also, if, say, I've been placing plots more frequently than him in the first few placements, and I've seen almost all of the red, maybe it threw 3 red at me and I was trying to grow red, well, there are only 7 of them. I might wait for him to do plots, or I'm going to get a tile that I'm not looking for. If I don't have a plot objective that uses green or yellow at that point, I'd just be like, it's not going to give me what I want, I'm going to waste an action dropping it. Another thing you can do that's really cool is watch for hints as to what plot objectives they have. Let me show you an example from a game earlier. So in this example, sorry for the zoom in and out, my opponent had 3 plots, I had 3 plots. The board looked like this. He got weather and was trying to drop 2 plots at once. I think he was making sure that this one was finished, because he did that all on his own. He had just placed that one. I'm okay with him doing that for me, but let's see where he places his next tile. If I scroll down to right after he placed a green here. That tells me for certain he has absolutely no green cards other than this one with the 2 green, 2 pink that he just finished for himself. I have the 3 green in a line, so he doesn't have that. If he was trying to go for the 3, 4, or the turn, he'd have done it up here. If he was going for the yellow and the green, he could have just placed that green right here and had it completely done. By placing it here, he potentially blocked me from any of the larger yellows, or forcing me to build all the way down here and have to irrigate far longer. It's a good defensive strategy to try to take points away from your opponent doing that, but it guaranteed me that all three of his plots, other than the one he's already completed, does not have green in it. So I'm going to watch his yellows and his pinks and try to block those more. Mind you, I kind of want the pink to grow in this example myself, but I don't want him to... Well, he blocked his yellow, so I know he doesn't have that. He's either got the yellow in a line and is done with it. It's really the pink I don't want him to go crazy with. Okay, back to my game. Sorry for taking a minute there, buddy. I got a win, so I can do the same action twice. This is finished, this is finished. He dropped my pink for me. I'm going to finish the game and show you what one of the other things is. This is another thing a lot of people make the mistake. When they're ready to finish, they just start dropping irrigation. I want to grab with all my objectives before I finish the plots, just in case I happen to grab a plot like this one that's exactly what I'm looking for, because I'm about to finish it anyway. Now, when I place that same irrigation tile down after grabbing the plot, because I can do that at the end of my turn before ending, I finish this triple. The 4 that I finished earlier, the one that I was really going for there, and I turn in the last of my bamboo. Now, you'll notice this little card here. This is the Emperor card. This is given to the first player to finish 9 objectives, and it gives you 2 points. Since your opponent didn't get it, it's kind of like a 4-point swing. A common mistake some people will make is they have an objective that they're almost finished with, they need one more action to complete it, and they'll wait for the next turn. If their opponent turns in first, gets the Emperor card, it's like a 4-point swing. If your card was worth exactly 4 points, all you did was keep up with where you would have been had you ended it last turn, so you should have ended it anyway, and forced them to finish whatever they can and be a little more on timer. If instead you only gain 3, you actually lost a point. If you gain 5 or something, that's great. Or an 8, one of the big gardeners or something, good for you. That's definitely worth, as long as you're 1 action off. Don't keep waiting for more than 1 turn to finish the game. You will lose more often than you'd think. It allows people to keep searching for cards that synergize, like plots that are about to be completed, or gardeners that match with what they're doing, things like that. So he turned in everything he had done, didn't have enough to keep up. Thanks for playing, buddy. Final comments for this game. Yeah, I was talking about the plots. Checking when those plots are about to shuffle. At 18 left, the next time you see it, you'll see repeats. At 12 left, you'll see repeats again. At 8 left, you'll see repeats again. At 5 left, you'll see repeats. 3 left, you'll see repeats, and you'll get only those 3. Then only 2, then only 1. It's very rare to see all 27 plots end up on the board, but it's important that you look at what's left when the plots are getting really low. If you can already see 9 yellows and you were hoping for another yellow to go with your pink yellow over here or something, well, give up hope. They're all on the board. You have to use what's there or you're out of luck. I've seen lots of people just hoping for the right thing and they didn't realize it was already out of reach. That's a really nice strategy, is counting which plots you've seen, which plots you cycled through, which plots your opponents were dropping. You can kind of deduce, well, maybe they only had 3 green to pick and they were really looking for something else. That's why they threw it away, like the example with my other game. The guy threw it away to the side and it was very clear it didn't fit any of his objectives. But he'd probably draw all 3 green. He had no choices but to place a green somewhere on the board. Or he was trying to mess with me. I guess that's always possible, that he thought he was going to ruin one of my objectives. I hope you've enjoyed this video showing you Takenoko and the objectives. Go forth and win many games.